Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Peggy McColl. Welcome you back for another episode of the Manifestation Podcast. And today we have a wonderfully exciting topic. We're going to talk about the ease of self-publishing. And with me today, I have a special guest. It happens to be my sister, Judy O'Beirn, who founded a business that actually caters to authors. So, Judy, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Peggy. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so, you have two businesses, really. Well, probably more than that, but two we'll talk about today. And I also want to give some people some guidance or some guidelines around what they really need to know about the industry, because the whole book industry has changed significantly. And I know since you started your business back a number of years ago, well, it was over 10 years ago now, that you've seen a lot of changes as well. So I think it's really important that anyone who's even thinking about becoming an author or who is already an author or maybe writing a book really needs to understand what's the most important and most valuable thing you need to learn as an author as it relates to the publishing part of it. And so your businesses are Hasmark Services and Hasmark Publishing. Would you mind starting by explaining what's the difference between those two?
The difference between Hasmark Services, that really was the beginning of our evolution into publishing. We began, of course, working for you, and that ultimately turned into us working for publishers like Hay House, Random House, HarperCollins, doing bestseller campaigns. So that was its primary focus. Throughout that, and we've worked with authors like Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Debbie Ford. The list is endless thanks to you. And having that opportunity, we put them on New York Times, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Business Weekly, so on and so forth. And just about any bestseller list you can be on, we put authors on. And we found throughout that course of time that we didn't have enough control over the book. Sometimes we didn't like the book covers, or they were out of stock, or the description wasn't representative of the book. So we moved into the publishing. And that's how Hasmark Publishing came to being. And then it's now evolved into Hasmark Publishing International.
Nice. All right, great. So you're now working with authors all over the world. So if anyone, any type of book, any kind of author, so fiction, nonfiction, every category of that is really where you guys step in, right? The Hasmark Publishing team.
That's correct. And we're now evolving into different languages as well.
Wow. Okay, cool.
We're investigating actually completing a book in Italian, but we have a team of people who are in Portugal, so we can do Portuguese. Of course, we can do French, and we've done Hungarian and a couple other languages in Thai. We're actually translating a book right now into Thai.
Right on. Okay, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
So you're a business that really helps someone who has an idea for a book, or they've written their book. You really help them bring it to the world.
Correct.
You can do that for them. Okay, great. Well, and when you think about it, why would an author write a book in the first place? Is to bring it to the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think, like, I remember when I first got into the business of being an author, which was just after the turn of the millennium, 2001, I started writing my book, and on being the creator of your destiny. Hasmark Publishing wasn't available back then. Nope. So I went into, and I was really not knowing anything about the industry. So I decided, I knew then that there were two options: self-publish or publish. And this is really what I want people to understand, is why self-publish is really the way to go nowadays. Absolutely. Never mind the publishing route. But the reason why I didn't go the publishing route back then is because I was really unknown, and I really didn't know what to do anyways. I didn't understand the whole industry. So I thought, I want to get the book out. I want to get out there fast, which is another advantage to self-publishing. And so I self-published the book, and I printed 3,000 copies of a hardcover edition, and ended up spending like over $30,000 to get this book out there in the world. And then I had 3,000 copies of a book that I didn't know what to do with. And that's when I learned how to effectively market. But we're here talking about the publishing part. And I want people to understand there are so many advantages to self-publishing, so many advantages. Can you think of what some of the top advantages are, or why people would choose to self-publish?
Absolutely. By far the most important one, which you talk about all the time, is own the rights to your book.
Yeah, good point.
Nothing is more important, because a publisher, when they sign you on, what you don't realize is you're basically handing over the rights, unless you retain creative rights. But chances are you won't. That means they can do whatever they want with the cover. They can change your interior. They can actually make it even a different subject than what you intended it to be.
Wow.
Now you've got to approach them about product rights. If you want to do a movie or screenplay, any other outcome of your book as well, courses that you want to do, you no longer control that. The publisher does. And I think that's the most critical of all of the things that you consider when you're going to publishing or self-publishing.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that. Like any book that I've self-published that has gone through Hasmark Publishing, and I've got 2 of them right here in my hands, if I don't like the cover, want to change the title, or want to change anything on the inside, no problem. We just take it off, create a new version, up it goes, right? You
Yeah.
can't do that when you have a publisher, right?
That's right. Exactly. I have clients all the time because of the evolution of time and what happens with their business. There's clients who may get an endorsement later on from a big name. They want that on the front of their book or back of their book or inside their book. They find mistakes. Who doesn't find mistakes after you publish?
Absolutely true. Absolutely
It takes
true.
us one day to get that fix made and the book uploaded, and it's like doesn't even be seen by consumers. They don't even know it changed, but we can
That's
do
so
that
true.
kind of thing. Yep.
And you can help people. Like I know you've worked with a lot of our clients, and we've worked with some of your clients. And so if a client really wants to get illustrations, as an example, you help with that too, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's such a fun process. We literally get a manuscript, which is something like getting a pad of paper. In fact, I have one right now that comes to mind. Is it came to us and it's a scratched up piece of paper. We took a picture of the manuscript, and that's what evolved. And now we have a physical book in our hands.
Wow.
So the seeing it go to from manuscript to storyboard to the illustrations and the process of illustrations, it's magical watching that process happen.
Right on. Oh, that's so great. It must be exciting for the author when you're working with them, when they actually see their new cover or they see their physical book and they hold it in their hands.
Oh yeah. Well, you know Heather Lean.
Yes.
To
Yes.
see her book evolve.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's gorgeous.
To go
It,
from this to the way that book is, I don't have it right in front of me, but what an incredibly beautiful book.
It sure is. It's one of my favorite books ever. I love that book. I keep it on my bookshelf. And as you know, I
Yeah,
work with
me too.
thousands of authors, and I've had many of them send me their books, and a lot of them just end up being donated to the library. It's just too many books for me. And if I've
Yeah,
read them, then I want to share them. But hers right on like a prime spot, prime
yeah,
real estate spot.
yeah.
And it's interesting how she was simply inspired by an idea or a thought, and she followed through. Now she's not an illustrator, and I think a lot of people stop themselves for different reasons, and you can help them with all of that. Another way that you
Yeah.
really help people, and I think people need to understand this, is, and I'm going to ask you the question, I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you the question: do people have to be a great writer to write a book?
Yeah. As you said, you know the answer to that one, because you and I are not great writers. You talk about it on stage all the time that you don't like writing.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
so you don't need to be. We've got ghostwriters, we got people who can evaluate your manuscript. If you want to do the writing, but you need your hand held through it, there's people who will do that. We'll do that for you. And then of course editing, because it could be an evaluation of your manuscript that says here's the areas of improvement, ensuring that your message is succinct, it's well read, that you don't drop us off at any point through your book, and at the end you leave us with a message. I don't
Yeah.
care what the subject of your book is, you want to leave us with a message.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good advice. And I know you work with every different type of book as well, so you can help with that. Because sometimes people, they'll start writing their book and they'll think, well, I don't even know if I need an editor. Some people think they don't need an editor. And what do you say to those kinds of, what do you say to that? Like, I know the answer to that one too, but
Yeah,
what do you say to
exactly.
them?
That's the question I get asked almost daily.
Mm.
If they don't think they need one, I guarantee you I'm putting it in my quote. I'm putting it in my proposal. I had
Yeah.
one gentleman recently that told me it's gone through 4 different people. Our
Okay.
editors got a hold of it and said, you can't publish the book as it is. I mean, not
Yeah.
even that it needs a light editing. You cannot publish it as it is. And that gentleman had been through 4 editors.
Were they professional editors? They weren't from you, obviously, but were they
One of
professional
them was
editors or were they just
professional.
friends?
Yeah, one was professional. One was like a student, you know, and a couple of
Okay.
friends. So in fairness, but even professional editors, I think the industry rate of mistakes is like 10%. Figure that out. If you've got a
Wow.
50,000 word book and that's
Yeah.
10%, isn't that like 5,000 mistakes in your book?
Yeah.
A crazy amount of mistakes.
It's so true. I remember working with a ghostwriter. The first time I worked with a ghostwriter, and she told me every book released has spelling errors in it. It doesn't matter who the book is or how it was written or how well it's been edited. They will all be released with a spelling error in it.
Yep.
And something that comes to mind is as you're talking about the importance of that. And I know you find the right editor as well. That's something else that you
Oh,
do,
yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
they're like if someone's writing fiction, be a different type of editor, or if someone's written a book and they feel that it's really complete, well structured, they're great at grammar, great at communicating, and maybe it only needs just simple editing. You've got different types of editing available as well, right?
Absolutely. Because you're right that there's like, we have one now, which is a completely unique book that we're asked to look at. And I actually have gone to different individuals to find the right person to edit it. And
Okay,
that
good.
I had many editors refuse it because that's what they said. If that's not what I like and I'm not enjoying what I'm reading, I can't give
Okay.
your author the right value back.
I think that's important that people understand that you provide the right choices for them as well. And I know you do that with book covers too, because a book cover is very critical, and you've got different designers, and of course you've done book covers for many of my clients as well. You've done book covers for me. And you see, people will make a decision on whether they're going to buy a book just from looking at that book cover.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Yes. That's so important. You have no idea how many will receive that the author has gone into Canva or somewhere like that. It's a great conceptual idea, but
Right.
the quality by the time it gets to print also is really, really important.
So true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that expression, you get one chance to make a first impression.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And once
Yes.
it's out there in the world, if that's the impression people get, like if it looks like it's, what do they call it, like done in your garage, like a
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
a homemade job,
Homemade. Yes.
then
Yeah.
people are not going to be attracted to it. We actually touched on the benefits of going through Hasmark Publishing and also self-publishing. And you talked about the flexibility that every author has to make any changes that they want. There's
Correct.
two additional ones that come to my mind as far as the tremendous advantages. Actually, so many. I mean, my mind's just flooded
Yeah.
with all kinds of ideas right
I
now.
know.
What are some of the other advantages that you have found? And of course, you're an author yourself. So this is
Yeah.
not something that you're not in a business that you're not personally familiar with. You're an author yourself. What have you also found to be an advantage of self-publishing?
One of them is the royalties, for instance.
Earnings, right?
Earnings, yeah, and that changes from the traditional to the vanity to doing it yourself.
Right.
And it's like, and of course the traditional publishing, you'll get majority of the time you'll get the advance, and then you
Right.
have to really pay back the advance until you can start receiving a small percentage of the royalties that are owed on a book.
That's true.
And then there's a lot of vanity publishers. We're all quite different. I call us co-publishing
Okay.
because we give you back 100% of your royalties.
Woo, I like that. You know what? That was one of my questions I was going to ask you. What's the difference between what you do? If you're called Hasmark Publishing, isn't that a publishing house? And what's the difference? So,
Yeah, exactly. But the difference really is that we care about the quality.
okay.
Okay, our main purpose of being here is the quality of your book. Like you said, the cover, the interior, the layout, and then ultimately the publishing of it too, because I've seen a lot of mistakes just in the release of your book. But the other thing that besides the royalty, there is a great range of that, because some vanity publishers will take 50% of your royalties. Some will make you buy a certain amount of books before you even, like I've
Yeah.
heard of some that will make you buy thousands. And you know what
I
happens
know
with
that
those
too.
books?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They sit in your garage or your basement and grow mold. Unless you're extremely good about marketing.
Yeah. We can
And
help them there.
yeah, exactly. I know who the right person is to help with that. But one of the other advantages of self-publishing is distribution. You
Oh,
think,
yeah. Good.
the mind is that you think that if you go with a publisher, you have more distribution rights. I tend to disagree with that, because we've lived the life where they're only allowed a certain amount of books being shipped into Amazon, for instance.
Right.
Amazon takes a very limited amount of books. Well, your book stands the risk of being out of stock.
Oh,
With
wow.
self-publishing, your book is a print on demand. Therefore, it's always in stock. The only time it goes out is if you take it out of publication.
Wow. That's a fascinating. You know, I know a lot of people think that. They think that they get attracted to go the publishing route because they think that I'll get big distribution. But what you're saying is, and I just really want to bring this home, is it doesn't matter. You can still set up, like if people want to have their book in bookstores, you can actually have it set up that they can have that distribution available. Of course,
Correct.
bookstores are only going to bring the books in if it's a hot seller, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And
And that's no different for traditional publishers. There's this misconception traditional will get you into bookstores. No, they won't, because think about it. There's like 40 billion
true.
variations on Amazon today of books,
Yeah.
like new titles and different formats. They're only going to take the hot sellers. Well, if you're an
Right.
unknown author and you haven't sold any, bookstores aren't buying your books any more than the way we do it will buy books either. You have to get that engine moving to the bookstores. Well, we
You
can
know,
help with that.
you know, you just mentioned, 40, I don't know if you said billion or million.
40 million.
Yeah, 40 million. Yeah. And, I don't think people recognize either how many books are out there in the world. I'm thinking about, when you said that, I was thinking about there was a joke that used to go around that said, there's a baby born every minute. Somebody needs to find that woman and stop her. Right? It's kind of like there's a book born every minute. Somebody needs to find that author and stop them. But the truth is, nowadays, like when I first became an author, I forget what the numbers were that were released every year, but now it's significantly increased because people are realizing just how easy it is to create a book, write a book, and get it out there in the world. I mean, there's so many advantages to that. But one of the other, advantages that I see to Hasmark Publishing is that because you're Hasmark Publishing, when you self-publish a book for someone, or you publish a book for them, and of course, co-publisher, I like that name much better than vanity publisher. There's a perception or a perceived value that book is published by a publishing house, right? Someone goes to look at one of my books, either one of these books on Amazon.com, Power Life Script or Manifest, my bestseller. They're both published by Hay House, and it doesn't look like it's somebody who did it in their basement or garage or whatever.
Both published by Hasmark, not Hay House.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hasmark. Okay, yeah. Hasmark, Hay House, Hasmark, same thing.
And that's why what we do is the quality.
Yeah.
You're right, that's what our concentration is, on quality. And if we ever get, which has happened, that we've got books printed and shipped to a client and the quality of the book isn't very good, well, guess what's happening? We're on the phone with Amazon and they're fixing it and they're sending out new copies of the book.
Right.
And guaranteed it's going to happen. It's a printing press, it's a machine. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I am like, let's talk about Heather's book, the quality of the print of that book. So
it's gorgeous.
She's got an emblem that says it's published. People will perceive that to be the quality it is, whereas if it has nothing, it has no imprint of publishing.
So true.
People have this idea that it's not going to be quality. but
So true. You know what?
quality.
It is quality. That is the absolute truth. I have one of my clients that I worked with years ago is a lovely woman by the name of Nancy Tillman, who wrote a children's book called On the Night You Were Born. And there have been over 5 million copies of that book sold because of me, of course. No, I'm just kidding. She did learn how to market her book, and it's a phenomenal book. But if I held up Nancy Tillman's book that's now published through a publishing house, because I introduced her to my agent, and I held up Heather Lean's book, Angel Grandma, you would not be able to tell the difference. And Heather Lean's book, Angel Grandma, was published through you. The quality is there. It's a beautiful cover, beautiful quality. Another thing I wanted to ask you, my goodness, it's almost like these questions are all flushing into my brain so quickly. Two thoughts are, what format? So if an author has an idea, they want to do a book and they're thinking, should I do an ebook, Kindle maybe? Should I do a hardcover book? Should I do a softcover book? What should I do? Audio book? Which formats do you actually help them with?
We help with every one you just mentioned. Audiobooks is new to us, so I will say that it is something we're delving into right now, because I think based on what's going on in the circumstance of the world, Kindle and audiobooks are going to rise in sales. There's no doubt about that one. But we do paperback. The printing is the difference in the two, paperback and hardcover. Amazon does paperback, or Amazon Kindle Direct.
Yeah.
The print on demand. Hardcover is a bit challenging for us. So what I'll advise a client is do both. Elizabeth Ferris, she wrote the one about Positively Georgia. It's a children's book.
Oh, I love that book.
I know, it's so adorable. We did the paperback through Kindle Direct, and we did the hardcover through Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark does the print on demand. They're a competitor of Amazon's, so the inventory and the distribution is challenging, to say the least. So what we do is advise clients, definitely do it if your book is that style of book, like Heather Lean's, and children's books I think should be done in hardcover. They can take a bit more beating, but I would also do it in paperback, and I would do it in Kindle.
Definitely.
Kindles show up in black and white, but if you have a Kindle app on your phone or your computer, then you can watch it in color. You can see it in color.
Interesting. We'll probably change that.
Yeah, another thing that's coming up a lot is that with Kindle and color or not color. Today, Kindles are still black and white, but they are evolving. They will one day soon be color, I'm sure. But they have Kindle apps, and Kindle apps allow color. But every fiction, for sure, an ebook, I advise my clients to do first and foremost paperback and Kindle. First and foremost, every single client I suggest that to. Then if they want to entertain hardcover, I would say that's your special edition.
Okay. So here's another question. So someone's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, great. I'm going to go to Hasmark Publishing. I'm going to get my book. Can I also sell it off my own website or give it away on my own website? Are there any restrictions with that?
Do you think Amazon's listening?
Now they don't mind, right? You can give it away.
They do it. It's in some tiny little, you can give it away.
Okay.
You can give your book away.
Like on your own website.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly. So yeah, we advise our clients to, again, if I was doing hardcover and paperback, absolutely put paperback up on Amazon and around the world, distribute worldly. Hardcover, you don't have to go and distribute it around the world. You could get it set up, published, but only order author copies and sell it from your site yourself.
Oh, so much flexibility.
Oh, tons of flexibility of what to do. You can sell signed copies from your website, so that gives you an opportunity too, right?
Yeah, I remember one year I did some like Christmas bundles, I called them holiday bundles, where I actually put, I think I had another product like an audio CD, and some of my books, I autographed them, wrapped them up, put a ribbon on them, and sold them as bundles.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
and we
cool.
even have trilogies and book sets, and we actually have gone to printers and we've got the sleeve made, and then the author sells those from their site.
What's the age of your youngest author ever?
How old was Frederick? 9?
Yeah, he had a little boy. Wasn't he 8?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, he was the same age as my grandson is right now.
Yeah. We actually have an author right now who wants to do a children's book, 7.
7. Okay, good.
Challenge the audience to find us another author a little younger than that. So,
Well, I have a 5-year-old author client.
oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, he's not
Wow.
5 now. He was 5 when he wrote the book. I think his
Wrote the
daddy
book.
might have helped him, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And your granddaughter, she's an author, right?
She turned 10. Actually, her 10th birthday, we turned her book into an international bestseller.
So Marissa went to school on her birthday and went to school as an international best-selling author.
Correct.
I wonder how many other people in her class were international best-selling authors. 0
Yeah.
maybe,
So.
or in the school, or in the city, or in the province.
Exactly.
Probably not many. And that's. I'm sure that when you think about doing that with your kids, even, I think that's a great confidence builder as well.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And think about it. What's really cool about it, it's a legacy. It lives on. It's like getting
that's
a
it.
home in school. They don't take it away from you. It's from
Yeah.
now to forever. She will always be an international best-selling author.
Right. Well, what about, okay, so let's say a client, I'm sorry, I'm getting ideas, so I'm writing them down now so don't forget. So let's say a client publishes through Hasmark Publishing and it's in English, and someone from Germany sees it and they're like, I want to publish that book in German. Do they have the rights to do that? Is there any restrictions there? Can they do that if they want? Can one of your authors do that?
Sell the foreign rights to their
Yeah,
book?
sell the foreign rights.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
There's the difference between traditional and self-publishing, is that the author owns the rights to be able to sell the foreign rights.
Excellent. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Another question that I have a lot of authors asking me, or new authors asking me, is what if I want to have some books, like some of my own, maybe to give away at Christmas, or to I'm doing a books, not a bookstore signing, but I'm doing an event and I want to have books for all my clients or sell them at the event. How do your authors get copies of their own books?
Great question. So we'll give them access to their author account. So what we do, again, we're a little different than traditional not traditional vanity style publishers. We create their account for them. We'll give them directions and guidance, how to go into their account, order author copies at a hugely discounted rate, and then ship them to their own house. They can do it anytime, as often as they want, as many copies as they want. Not all vanity publishers do that, which is
okay. Yeah, I think that's important too, because there's really nothing in it for you. Right?
No, we don't make any money on the number of books you sell. It has no impact on us.
Well, that's why I'm holding these. That's why I'm holding my own books in my hand, is because you guys, Hasmark Publishing, uploaded these to Amazon and I just went on there. Yeah, actually, I think one of your team ordered them for me.
Yeah, and shipped boxes to you. Exactly.
Right on. Okay, so I want to finish up with one more question. I think we could probably be on here all day long because there's so much to this, but I want to talk about the speed to getting your book up and available online. And this is, we're talking about the advantages. There's so many advantages to self-publishing your book nowadays. Yeah. It's absolutely what I recommend. I'm really even trying to dissuade people away from going the publishing route, just because it's different world, different animal today. So how fast could someone get a book up and be available online? What would that process be like?
Well, let me see. I have one example I could talk about.
Oh, goody.
From Friday one week to Friday the next, when they had the book in their hands. Mm-hmm. That's unusual. So it can be that fast, but I would probably say 2 months.
Wow, that long?
Well, that's okay, but that's.
Let's say it's edited. It's edited, covers done, back covers done. It's ready to rock and roll. So from the point of the book is finished, now it needs to go into production. How long does that take?
Maybe 2 weeks.
Okay, good.
We can push it faster. I would say the standard is, without pushing anybody real hard, is 2 weeks. Got it. Very normal. Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. It's about
that's a huge
layout, and then it's the back end stuff that we have to do properly. So
huge advantage.
That's why we actually were able to get you within a week, your book done, shipped, and in your hands.
Yeah, that's kind of a fascinating story. I think we should wrap up with that story because I remember I was at an airport in Toronto. I was flying Ottawa, Toronto to San Diego. I had a speaking engagement there, and I'm sitting at the airport in Toronto, and I had an ebook that I was using that we were giving away. And all of a sudden the idea just popped in my mind, hey, I should make this into a physical book as well. And so that's when I sent you a message and said, hey, would you guys be able to get this book done and get it done fast? I'm going to LA next Thursday. I'm speaking at a conference there, and I want to hold the book in my hand and talk about how fast you can do that. And then it took it even a little bit further, and I thought, not only am I going to go to LA next Thursday and stand on stage and hold a copy of my book, I'm going to stand on stage and hold a copy of a bestseller. I'm going to make it a bestseller as well. And so I remember reaching out to you, and you said, well, you got to get it to us like real fast. And, do you have any testimonials? And I didn't have any. And you said, well, get some testimonials. So I went online and I put a message there, and I said, if anyone's willing to give me a testimonial, I'll send you a copy of the book right away. 27 or 28 people gave me testimonials like that. Couldn't believe it. And I sent it over to you. By Monday, it was uploaded to Amazon. Tuesday, it went live on Amazon. I decided it's live. I'm going to do a bestseller campaign. I put it together that night. I mean, I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. Well, actually, I knew what a bestseller campaign was. I mean, with the web page, because I'm not. So I got something up, and then my web guy got it cleaned up the next morning, and we hit go on the bestseller campaign. And within a few hours, it was a bestseller. I ordered copies, sent them to a hotel in LA, got on stage on Thursday, holding my book. This was an idea last Friday, and just showing people how fast it can be.
Yeah, it can be that fast for sure. Absolutely.
Right on.
Yeah.
So if people want to find out more about Hasmark, maybe they want to investigate your services, maybe talk to one of your team or you, what's the best way of getting in touch with you?
It's definitely email me. I'm on Facebook. I've got a website, hasmarkpublishing.com. Judy at hasmarkpublishing.com. Same thing with Facebook. Real easy to get a hold of me, or find me through you.
Yeah, because we recommend all of our clients go through Hasmark Publishing. And so Hasmark, it's HASMARK.
Right.
Publishing at .com, and it's Judy, Judy at hasmarkpublishing.com. For those of you that are listening, absolutely go and check it out. And as Judy said earlier, she's worked with Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Debbie Ford, Greg Braden. I mean, many of the greats and completely unknown authors. So
hundreds.
Whatever type of book you've written or you're thinking of writing, or whether it's fiction, nonfiction, any category whatsoever, they can definitely help you out. And you've got a lot of different services that are available too. You also help authors with getting their websites up and other things too, right? Social media, I think.
Yeah, social media. We're not stopping at anything. The idea is, I know where I get it from in the family.
It's a full service.
Yeah, it's a full service supplier, absolutely. And we're always thinking of more.
That's good. I think that's a great way to be. Well, thank you so much for being here, for taking the time out of your business to share with everyone so willingly. And I really want to encourage everyone to go to hasmarkpublishing.com. Judy's very responsive with email, Judy at hasmarkpublishing.com. It's like me. If anyone wants to reach me, I'm easy to reach. So you are as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. And I wish even... All right, greater success. Okay, everyone, make sure you check out Hasmark. And if you love the podcast, leave us a review. We'd love to see your reviews and, of course, a 5-star rating. So thank you so much, everyone, and have yourself a wonderful day.